Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. So today we're continuing with our two-step inequalities, just like it says here. We've got 14 problems for you to work on. You might notice I've gone a little bit crazy and color-coded mine. That is because there's essentially three kinds of problems in this assignment. We've got what I call the purple kind. I just made that up. That's not really a thing. So I'm going to show you one of the purple kind. That's where you have like a fraction plus or minus something on one side, right? So other purple ones, see we've got the fraction there. Another purple one there has a fraction there. Those kind of ones are the purple ones. So if you're struggling with those, watch me solve the first one and see if you can apply it to those other problems. Another kind I'm solving for today's lesson is the blue kind, which basically you just have multiplication and then addition or subtraction. So other blue problems besides number 5 would be number 4, number 7, numbers 10, 11, 12, and 14. So if you're having trouble with any of those, definitely watch me solve number 5 and see if you can apply that to those others. And then the third kind is going to be the green kind. In this case, I'm going to show you number 9. And the green kind is where it looks like a big fraction, where that fraction bar is extra long and you've got a couple numbers on top, like a binomial on top. Okay, so other examples of this green kind would be number 2 and number 6. All right, so let's get started with number 1. Again, we're doing numbers 1, 5, and 9 right now. Okay, let's see how these purple ones go. And since it's a purple problem, I'll grab my purple pen. We got a match here, right? So we have 2 is greater than or equal to k divided by 10 plus 3. So we know that we need the variable by itself. That's that k. So that means we're going to have to get rid of the 10 and we're going to have to get rid of the 3. I want you to always start by getting rid of the one that is not stuck to the k. See how the 10 is kind of stuck to the k here, but the 3 is farther apart? That's what you want to get rid of first. Right now it's adding 3, so let's get rid of it by subtracting 3. And of course you're going to do that from both sides. That is going to go to 0 and basically disappear. Over here we have to do the math, so 2 minus 3 is going to give us negative 1, greater than or equal to k over 10. Okay, now all we have to get rid of is that 10. Right now it's k divided by 10, so let's do the opposite. Let's multiply by 10. Always do the opposite of whatever number you're trying to get rid of. So this 10 and that 10, they'll cancel each other out. Over here, 10 times negative 1 is going to give us negative 10. So negative 10, okay, let's think for a second. Do we need to flip the sign? Did we divide by a negative or did we multiply by a negative? No, we didn't. So in this case, we don't have to flip the sign. Now, we do have a negative number here, but that doesn't matter. What matters is what we multiplied by. In this case, excuse me, we multiplied by a negative 10, so no flipping is required. So we're just going to bring this sign down. And then here we're just left with the k. All right, excellent. So now let's get this on the number line. Let's put a 0 here. Negative 10 is going to go to the left because it's a negative number. Now, which sign are we going to use? I mean, not sign, which kind of dot? We've got the or equal to. This is a greater than or equal to. So we better fill our dot in, and that just shows us that the negative 10 is included. That's one of our answers. You could say negative 10 is greater than or equal to negative 10, and that would be a true statement. Okay, so now I'm going to read from my variables, so I'm going to read backwards. So k, in other words, all your answers, because there's tons of answers here. There's an infinite number of answers here. So all of the answers are going to be less than negative 10, which means my arrow needs to go to the left. You could also say, if you want to read it this way, you could say negative 10 is greater than the answers, meaning that negative 10 is bigger than the answers, so negative 10 is here and the answers are here. Whatever makes more sense to your head. I like reading it backwards. You do it your way, okay? That's it for number 1. Make sure you're writing it this way and including the graph. And every graph should have a clear dot, like either open or closed dot, and an arrow that either points to the right or points to the left. Okay, let's go on to number 5. Looks like I need to switch to blue here. So we've got 65 is less than negative 6n plus 1. I mean minus 1, yes. Okay, so we've got the variable here that needs to be isolated. So that means we have to get rid of the negative 6 and we have to get rid of the 1. Which one should we get rid of first? Get rid of the one that is not attached to the end. So leave the negative 6 alone for a while. Let's get rid of this guy first. So right now it's a negative 1. To get rid of it, let's do plus 1. Okie dokie. So minus 1 plus 1 is going to equal 0, so I'm just going to make that go away. Now 65 plus 1 is going to be 66. It's still less than negative 6n. Alrighty. So now the n isn't by itself yet, but we're getting closer. We still need to get rid of this negative 6 right here. Right now this negative 6 is multiplying with the n, so we need to do the opposite to get rid of it, and that would be to divide by it. Now make sure you divide by the whole negative 6. You don't want to just divide by 6 and then be left with a negative there. So divide by the whole thing that you're trying to get rid of, and make sure you divide by it on both sides. Now think for a second, what did we just do? Did we divide by a negative? Yes, we did. So I'm going to circle this right here. I'm going to circle the sign, and what that's going to do is in the next step, it's going to remind me, because I always forget, it's going to remind me that I need to flip the sign. I need to change the direction of it because we divided by a negative. Okay, let's keep going. 66 divided by negative 6 is negative 11. Now I'm going to flip my sign. And let's see, negative 6 divided by negative 6, that just cancels out. It goes to 1, which 1 times n just equals n. So we're just going to write n there. Okay, now we're solved. This is good right here. All we have to do is graph it. So let's put a 0 on here. Let's do a negative 11 down this way. Now open dot or closed dot. There's no or equal to part, so we need an open dot, and that basically is just telling us that negative 11 is not a solution. If you said negative 11 is greater than negative 11, would that be true? No, they're the same size, so that would not be true, and that's what the open dot tells us. Okay, cool. So I'm going to read it backwards again. N, or in other words, the answers, are less than negative 11. So that means they're going to be the smaller numbers off this way. And that's all we got to do there. You could read it the other way if you want. You could say negative 11 is greater than or is bigger than the answers, and you should get the same graph. Okay, now let's look at the ones that I colored green. So these involve division also. Let me find my green pen here. Let's read it. It's x minus 6 all divided by 9 is greater than negative 1. So in this kind of case, you have this entire binomial here, the x minus 6. This whole thing is being divided by 9. You can tell that by that long fraction bar there, right? So in this case, you're going to have to get rid of this 9 first. You can't do anything else with these guys up on top until that 9 is gone. So right now they're being divided by 9. We're going to do the opposite to get rid of that 9. The opposite of dividing by 9 is multiplying by 9. So let's multiply by 9 on both sides. So this and that are going to cancel out, and we're going to be left with x minus 6. Let's see, did our sign change? No, it didn't change because we didn't multiply by a negative. We just multiplied by a 9. Now negative 1 times 9 is going to be negative 9. Okay, we're getting there. Let's go ahead and do the next step. We still want this x by itself. Let's get rid of this minus 6. What's the opposite of minus 6? It's going to be plus 6, and we'll do that to both sides. That's going to go to 0, and we're going to be left with x is greater than, let's see, different signs subtract, you're going to have negative 3. And, okay, and then we're done. This is what we want. We just also need to graph. Okay, so we're going to put 0 on there, and then we're going to put our negative 3 over here. Is it going to be an open dot or a closed dot? It's going to be an open dot. Good. And it says x, or in other words, the answers are bigger than or greater than negative 3. So where do the bigger numbers live? They're over this way, like 0 is bigger, and 2 is bigger, and 100 are bigger. They're all over this way. All the numbers that are bigger than negative 3. Okay, and that's what we got to do. So I hope that helps out. If you have any questions, let me know. I love hearing from you. Have a good one. Bye.